everybody, welcome to my first video. I'm excited. I hope you are too. What we're going to do in this video today is talk about character consistency. It's something that's super important, especially if you're working on a series. And I'm going to talk about character consistency in a few different ways. There's some obvious ways, kind of like the baseline fundamental, who they are, what they look like, what they do, those kind of things that you have to establish and keep consistent over time. Also, kind of recurring quirks or parts of their personality that sets them apart, makes them a little different. Something that your main core characters kind of always do, the way we always do. You have a phrase that you say all the time. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're also going to talk about how your characters can evolve and grow over time while still maintaining that core essence of who they are. But they also, over the course, from scene to scene, book to book, right on down the line, they're still who they are, but they're who they are in different and surprising ways that's kind of based and rooted in who you've established that character to be. First thing we're going to talk about is, kind of like the physical or identifying things that you decide about a character. And how do you make sure that you're always staying true to that? The easiest way to do that, and it sounds like a no-brainer, but it's something a lot of people do not bother to do. Get yourself a notebook, and for each project you're working on, and for each major character, write it down. If you decide your character's middle name is Rose, write it down. If your bad guy walks with a limp, decide if it's on the left or the right-hand side, and make sure you keep it that way. It's really important that you keep that the same, and that it kind of builds trust with your reader too, that you know what you're doing. And when you violate it, that's something that you just don't want to do. Like, say for example, you decide in one book that your main character is allergic to peanuts, and then 2 books down the line, he's munching on some peanut butter fudge. All that tells your reader is that they care about these characters more than you do, because they're going to notice and remember, and they're going to wonder why you didn't. And the best way to avoid doing that is to make sure you have a handy reference guide of what they drive. If you've said, oh, he's a Taurus, you don't want to have his birthday party in November. These are like easy fundamental things that there's no reason to get wrong, and a notebook and a kind of character Bible is the best way to do that. You don't have to decide everything all at once. You probably shouldn't. But when you do decide something, make sure that you have that written down and you can refer to it and you can keep it consistent, because that's the easy stuff, and there's really no excuse for getting that wrong. So that's kind of your first most important thing. Something I like to do also that kind of deepens a character and also gives them something consistent to do over time is give them that quirk that we talked about earlier. I have a character who gives herself pep talks in the mirror, and she squares her shoulders and she tells herself she's not going to do this, or she is going to do that. And she builds herself up by looking in the mirror and squaring those shoulders and saying, this is how it's going to be. And that's something she's probably going to do when she's 80, something she's probably been doing since she was 8. That is a core fundamental thing of who she is. And it's relatable for readers because they have that as well. I have a character who runs his fingers through his hair all the time, and he thinks about how there's less hair every time he does it. And that's believable and relatable and likable. And that deepens his character and gives him that. It's like a callback every time you do it that tells the reader, yeah, she knows what she's doing. This character, that's who that person is. And this author knows how to, she's not going to violate my trust by making this character something that they're not. That takes us to the next point, And that's something I call, I guess it's the soap opera effect, right? I have learned so much about writing by loving soap operas, and especially about building characters from soap operas. And I'll tell you why. Those characters are on those shows for flippin' ever, right? Like 40 years. These same characters are there. They're born. They're kidnapped by a supervillain. They get married, they get abducted by an alien, they get divorced, they get married again, they get divorced, they get married again, they have an evil twin that they didn't know about, they fall off a cliff and die and then come back as somebody that looks totally different. Like, all these crazy things happen, but who that character is the same. And that keeps the viewers, or your readers in this case, invested. Like, they know that even though they're evolving and growing, because who you are at 15 and 25 isn't who you are at 35 and 45. I mean, let's hope not. Let's hope that you're making better decisions and learning things as you go on, right? But you're still who you are. Here's a quick example. Say you have a character who always like loses herself in the guy she's dating. If she likes somebody or if she's seeing somebody, she's like that. If they're a vegan, she's a vegan. If they're into yoga, she's working on her flexibility. Like, that's who she is. She is going to become who she dates. So she's mirroring them. You've established that that's something that she's done. But you've also established maybe that maybe she's afraid of water, or she doesn't like to get her face wet, or she has body issues. She doesn't want to be in a swimsuit. So when this girl who has all these things about water suddenly takes up scuba diving, normally you would say that's inconsistent, and and the reader would question it, but it's not. It's surprising and it's unexpected, but it's also plausible and realistic because of who you've also established that even though she didn't like to get her face wet, she really likes to chase that guy, and she really likes to do what that guy wants to do. So you've established that she's going to be like that, but you've also surprised the reader in a good way too, as that character grows and evolves, or that as that character becomes more well-rounded or has more things are going on to her. She's becoming a different person, but she's staying true to who she is, just like hopefully we do. So that's my quick little snapshot of character consistency. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, share it, tell a friend, and keep watching. There's going to be more videos. I have a lot of exciting things to talk about in the next couple of weeks. I'm super excited to share it with you. So thanks for watching, and let me know if there's anything you want to learn or teach me. Happy to hear it. Thanks. Bye.